All right, we are live on YouTube. Welcome to Navigating the Modern World with Coach Eli. Glad you could all join me here tonight for this very special and brief show I'm going to be doing tonight on a very important topic that is commonly misperceived. The meaning of this topic is very much misperceived. And I've had a lot of experience regarding this topic, not only on YouTube, but also in the real world. And I'm going to be sharing my thoughts here tonight, my experiences as well. And also going to be going over to my most favorite blog site, one of my favorite blog sites, Reddit, where I have a great Reddit posting that discusses this topic. So stick around for that. But before we get to that, let me make sure everything is rolling smoothly first and foremost. Let me check out the back end of YouTube and make sure things are rolling well, and they are. And let me also make sure that the YouTube notification has gone out. It has. And let's do a sound check. All right, there is an issue with the sound. Give me a second here. There's an issue with the sound. Hang on a second. Let me see here. Testing. 1, 2, 3. All right. Let me make sure the sound is back to normal. Sometimes these glitches happen. I want to make sure that the sound is back to being normal before we continue here. It's going to take about 30 seconds or so to go through on the YouTube end of things. So let me just make sure before we continue. So give me a second, and I'm going to just play a song real quick here. All right, yeah, there was a sound glitch on my end. I don't know if it went out to YouTube, but I just tested the YouTube end, and everything is rolling smoothly. My apologies for that, folks. Welcome to the show. Jones Vlogging Network can hear you and see you clearly. Thank you. Seems okay. Fella says Donnie Shaw Show. Welcome to the show. Highway 101 Blues with the $2 super sticker. Big round of applause. Thank you for that, and welcome to the show. Thank you again, Highway 101 Blues, for your donation earlier and your donation now. Very kind of you. Hope you're having a wonderful evening. Highway 101 Blues says it's normal. Okay, fantastic. All right, folks, tonight's show is going to be a brief one, and this is regarding a very important topic, like I mentioned at the beginning of this stream here, that is commonly misperceived. And the title is, Should You Fake It Till You Make It? One more time, should you fake it till you make it? Now, a lot of people think that means, should you pretend to be something that you're not until you become successful? That's what people think it means. should you pretend to be something that you're not until you become successful? Pretend to be something you're not to get you successful, and once you become successful, then you stop faking it, right? And the answer to that question is absolutely not, because if you become successful based on a lie, in order to remain successful, you're going to have to pretend to be something you're not. So that is not what should you fake it till you make it means. I'm going to share a brief story here regarding where I first heard this term. And I've kind of mentioned this story years ago on one of my channels. It's kind of buried somewhere, so I'm going to mention it again because it's very important. And also, I've been seeing a lot of people out here on YouTube and in the real world pretending to be something that they're not just to try to get ahead or to, feel better about themselves in front of their peers. Like a lot of people on YouTube will lie about how much money they make or, say that they have something that they don't, just to try to look cool and better than other people. And that is absolutely not the right way to do things. You need to be yourself and just be honest, transparent, and real with people. Now, does that mean you have to share everything with people about your deep personal life? No. But, if you're going to come out here on YouTube, for example, and tell people, well, I make more money than you. I make $1 million a year, so, lay off, Buster. I mean, come on. Why would you feel the need to do that if you're happy within yourself, regardless of what you make? And you should always be happy within yourself, even if you make less money than others. Money does not, create happiness. It does make the world go round. But if you base your happiness off of how much money you make or making more money than someone else, you're not going to be a happy person deep within. Highway 101 Blue says, we'll be watching on TV. Great. In 1080p, 60 frames per second. Wonderful. Donnie Shasho with the $2.99, European London, however that goes there. Thank you for the super sticker there, Donnie. Big round of applause. Thank you, Donnie. Thank you so much. It's very kind of you, bro. Thank you very much. Wonderful. Between the two super chats and the currency exchange rate, we are at $5.88 right now. Let me go ahead and update the donations tag there. Thank you once again to Highway 101 Blues and Donnie Shaw Show for your donations. $5.88. So let me share a brief story with you folks regarding, when I first heard this phrase. It was probably about 12 or 13 years ago when I was still networking in the real world, attending business networking events and running my own business networking events. And there was this young lady who was like 29, 30 years old. And she was transitioning from working in the corporate world that she didn't want to work in anymore to becoming a self-employed entrepreneur. And she was transitioning into becoming a success coach. She calls herself a success coach. It's a similar type of thing like I do as a life coach, but she labels herself a success coach. And I was running networking events back then under the same business name that I still own to this day, called the Genuine Networking Association, or GNA for short. And I had her come and speak at one of my events in the Sacramento area here in Northern California where I live. And she did a presentation called Fake It Till You Make It. And she came out and was explaining on, how you should just put yourself out there and just keep moving forward. And, even if you don't feel comfortable and you don't know everything, just, fake it till you make it. And she was a very smart woman, but she was very young and inexperienced. And that presentation to me kind of came off in the wrong way. Plus, I was less experienced back then. And I kind of took it as, okay, so you're going to pretend to be something that you're not, to lead people to believe that you're good at this so you can make money and be successful at it, right? Okay. That's how I took it, right? But I was wrong. I misperceived the meaning of that presentation. And ever since that point, I had reached out to her, years after that when I finally figured out what it meant. And I told her, hey, that's a great presentation. And I get the underlying message. The underlying message is you should continue to move forward, regardless of, regardless of how you feel. A lot of times people feel like, okay, this is what I want to do. And I'm good at this, but I'm still learning how to deliver my message. I'm still learning how to do public speaking. I'm still learning what I love to do. And you should continue to push forward and persevere forward, despite the fact that you're not as experienced as you'd want to be. And we all learn from our mistakes. Now, I remember if we go back, my first public speaking experience was back in my retail management days. This goes back, like close to 25 years ago, 22, 23 years ago or so, around there. And I was very nervous. I had to give a presentation in front of the vice presidents at a regional meeting. I was a key carrying supervisor that was about to be promoted to assistant store manager, a pretty big promotion. And at that event, it was an event where all of the store managers in the region were invited, and they could bring one assistant manager to that meeting. My store manager, instead of bringing one of his assistant managers, he brought me, a key carrying supervisor that was about to be promoted. And he goes, you know what, Elias, this is your opportunity to make a presentation here and to show everyone in the region what you've got. He had a lot of faith in me, but I was nervous as hell. And what I did was I took 3 or 4 pages worth of notes, right? And I was just nervous up until the time of this, event. I kept on looking over my notes. I kept reading them and rereading them, right? And then when it came time for me to give the presentation, everybody thought I was this, I'm not saying I wasn't confident, but I was nervous. I was inexperienced. Everyone thought that I was this, confident guy. I was always bubbly and had a great personality, but I had never given a public speaking presentation in front of a very prominent and large group of people, such as the people that were at that regional meeting, especially the regional vice presidents. And my promotion was dependent on me delivering this, presentation very well, right? So I got up there when it was my turn. And I mentioned, I'm a key carrying supervisor for this store. And everyone looked at me because they're like, wow, everyone else here is a store manager, an assistant store manager, or a regional vice president or district manager, right? I was like the lowest ranked person there, right? And I looked up my notes and I started reading my notes. And after about 10 or 20 seconds after reading my notes, I sat there and I thought to myself, I sound like a freaking robot. I know this. I know the numbers. I know the store. My store manager put me up here because he has faith in me. I cannot screw this up. So you know what I did? I put my notes down and I started speaking from the heart, and I remembered everything clearly. I was nervous as hell, but I made it appear like I wasn't. In essence, that's a proper example of faking it till you make it, right? At the end of that meeting, the regional vice presidents came up to me and they're like, wow, we had no idea that your store manager was going to invite you to this event, but we're glad that you're here. And, we hear that, you're being put through the assistant manager program. And they said, we look forward to seeing you prosper, grow and prosper through this company. And that felt really good, right? That felt really, really good. So in that situation, I was nervous as hell. I wasn't really ready to do this, or at least I thought I wasn't, right? But in that case, I faked it until I made it. I didn't lie about who I was. I didn't lie about anything. But I had an opportunity to shine there. And despite how nervous and inexperienced I was, I had to figure out a way to pretend that I wasn't. So that's what that means there. Now, let me check out the chat here real quick, and then I'm going to go over this Reddit posting here before we go off the air. Donnie Shaw Show, Highway 101 Blue says, nice at Donnie for the super chat or the super sticker. Donnie Shaw Show says, hey, Highway. And furthermore, Donnie Shaw Show says, the King's Pound. Exactly. Thank you for that, Donnie. The Anonymous Network tuning in again. Hey, welcome back, the Anonymous Network. Thank you so much for being here. All right. Before we continue, let me make sure that the sound is still working well. Give me a second. But I have an opportunity to shine. All right, we're good. Let's go ahead and switch on over to the browser screen here. Where are you? There you are. Let's get to this Reddit posting here that will shed some more light regarding what I'm talking about here. This is from the subreddit r/entrepreneur. And the title is, does fake it till you make it actually work? One more time, does fake it till you make it actually work? And all the original poster wrote in the body after the title is, looking forward to reading your comments. So, he just wanted some feedback. 223 comments. We'll go through about 10 or 20 of them here, and let's see what people said about this. Many people suffer from imposter syndrome. Out here on YouTube, it's second nature. The feeling that you're not really as competent as people think you are. Sometimes fake it till you make it can be the answer. Yes, as long as you understand what it actually means. And it doesn't mean that you lie to people or say that you make a ton of money when you don't, right? Or you have a type of car that you don't have. Like a lot of people out here on YouTube will pretend to be like a high-rolling baller when they're not, right? And, they borrow these high-end cars from friends. They lie about the amount of money they make, etc., just to gain traction. But once they gain traction, if they don't keep up that facade, they're going to lose their audience. So it's not worth it. You don't want to fake it in that way, okay? Basically, fake it till you make it is basically saying, hey, look, you know what? You're probably going to be, trying to create something that someone else has already done. So you want to learn from the best, right? And that's what they mean by imposter syndrome. I learned a lot of what I'm doing here today through Coach Corey Wayne, Coach Dan Bacon, and over the last 20 years, reading many personal development self-help books and watching many personal development and self-help videos and podcasts, right? That's how I learn. That's my way of taking it till I made it. And now I can sit here and answer questions off the top of my head. I have a lot of experience and also a lot of knowledge I've learned from people that have been doing this longer than me. And that's what it means there. So that's well said there, in my opinion. Fake it until you realize you're actually doing it and you're more competent than you thought. One more time. That's great. Fake it until you realize you're actually doing it and you're more competent than you thought, not that you thought. Big round of applause. I could not have said it better myself. When you first start doing something new that you're trying to accomplish, you're going to be nervous. So you got to try to cover up those nerves and push through those nerves until you realize, how good you are at doing what you're doing. And then those nerves will go away. I don't really get nervous anymore. At times I might get a little nervous every now and then during certain things, but I can just go live on YouTube anytime and not get nervous and speak off the top of my head. Well said there. Well said. Information Man Show, peace and respect. Hello, brother. How you doing, Information Man Show? Welcome to the show, brother. How you doing tonight, bro? Donnie Shasho, if you haven't made mistakes, you will not learn to better yourself. Right. That's another thing that fake it till you make it means. It means that you're going to make mistakes along the way as you learn how to better, deliver what you're trying to create. That's all it means. Well said there, Donnie. Donnie Shasho furthermore says, we have all faked it till we made it during interviews. Oh, yeah. Absolutely. I had so many interviews back in my younger days when I used to work in retail and retail management and retail corporate. I learned how to handle those interviews. And I'll tell you, man, it gets really stressful because, some hiring managers were better at interviewing people than others. And they knew the questions to ask you, and they knew how to ask you the same question 3 times throughout the same interview in 3 different ways to see if you would answer the same question consistently. That's what you got to look for, right? And I picked up on that, right? So you got to be honest, unless you're a world-class bullshitter, and then you still shouldn't lie. But you got to be real honest, because when you're being interviewed, if you get one of those really, really, really good and smart hiring managers, they're going to ask you the same question 3 different times over the course of a 45-minute interview. And they're going to ask you that same question 3 different ways, 3 different times to see how consistent your answer is. And if it's not the same, they probably won't hire you. Donnie Shasho, always room for improvements. That's right, Donnie. That's absolutely right. Let's continue here. This is exactly how it is, LOL. As you get more involved in the professional scene, you also realize how much everyone is kind of just winging it. Right. And to a certain extent, hiring managers and companies understand that. Okay. I felt imposter syndrome often. But then I meet high up people doing jack shit, and I realize my value is more legit than I thought. And then you wonder how they got into those high paying and higher up positions, right? Right? They faked it till they made it, right? Yeah. This is me after 20 years of playing guitar. Okay. I don't know what that means. Oh, it means that you're for real now. You're no longer faking it because you made it, right? I've always known this, but I need an important question answered as really dumb as it is. Should I ever tell a soul or at least anyone at work about it? It's like a validation thing as myself being the target of imposters. In my honest opinion, I wouldn't go out and tell people, I'm just faking it until I make it, because I haven't made it yet and I lack self-confidence, right? It's something that you want to keep deep within yourself to motivate you and help push you forward the times that you feel nervous and, you feel like giving up or you feel like not trying, right? That's all it is. So no, I would never, ever bring this up, with anyone. The only person I would probably bring this up with is maybe a close friend or a family member, or a therapist, but I really wouldn't go out and talk about this. So, I'm faking it till I make it, it just doesn't sound right. And people are going to misperceive, the concept like I've been mentioning all throughout this video here. The original poster comments and says, I read once that you must be an imposter before you can become a master. One more time. I read once that you must be an imposter before you can become a master. That is true. That is true. Like for me, I'm a life coach. And I knew a lot about life and life's principles before I came out here on YouTube and started doing this 6 years ago. But I wanted to learn better ways on how to deliver my message. Even though I already knew what I wanted to talk about, I wanted to learn how to better present my information, right? And that's why I started following Coach Corey Wayne and Coach Dan Bacon and many others. And I even went back and, refreshed my memory on some content I watched and listened to over the past or previous 20 years of my life. I did a refresher, right? So yes, a lot of the stuff I talk about is regurgitating things that other people have talked about. There's nothing wrong with that as long as you put your own spin on it and you have your own life examples to share, your life examples and experiences to share to bring more value to what you're saying. So yes, I read once that you must be an imposter before you can become a master. Oops, where are we here? An imitation is not the real thing, yet imitating the master is how you become one. One more time. An imitation is not the real thing, yet imitating the masters is how you become one. Big round of applause. Right. There's nothing wrong with imitating the masters as long as you put your own spin on it and you share your own experiences. The value of what you do is based on your own experiences. The content, anyone can share the same content. It'll be the same. But where the value lies is through your own personal experiences and how well you can present your story. Storytelling is huge. It's huge. That brings a lot of value to everything. This is so quotable. I don't know if it's original or not, but I love the statement. Are you talking about fake it till you make it? It's been around for a while. If that's what you're talking about. It's original, but I'm sure someone else has said it more eloquently. I don't know if I consider it an eloquent phrase. It's just a phrase. And many people have said it, but many people misperceive the meaning of it. Let's see here. Donnie Shasho says, yeah, I always found the question about what are your negative habits / flaws. What do you mean? I think you left the word out there, Donnie. Yeah, I always found the question about what are your negative habits. Oh, yeah, you're talking about during an interview. They ask you to mention something that you did wrong at some point. What are some of your bad habits, some of your flaws? I can't remember. I was asked that in several interviews, and I had a response to it. And right now, I really can't think what I said. You basically want to say something that, is true, but you want to put it in a way where you learned from it and it was an honest mistake, right? So I believe I said something like this to that question. I've made many honest mistakes in my life, and I learned from those mistakes. I really can't think of any specific mistakes at this point. But one thing you should know about me is I take a lot of pride in always thinking twice or three times before I make a decision, because I know the decisions that I make at this job, if I get this job, are not only going to affect me, they're going to affect many others. And, that's a big responsibility that I take very seriously. So when you answer something like that, so profound like that, where most others would be like a deer in headlights, you're going to get the job if you say that. You know what I mean? Yeah, sorry. No worries, Donnie. That's cool. No worries at all. No worries. Master has failed more times than a beginner has ever tried. Correct. Master has failed more times than a beginner has ever tried. Big round of applause. Masters are not afraid to take chances. And when you take lots of chances to get ahead, you're going to make a lot of mistakes. but you're going to learn from those mistakes. Fake it till you make it. Fake it till you make it. You're gonna make mistakes, and you're gonna learn from those mistakes. And that's another aspect of what fake it till you make it actually means. I really like that, says the next person. Absolutely. Basically, you have to suck a long time before becoming passable. Yeah, I guess I've been sucking out here on YouTube for 6 years. Some people will get a good laugh out of that one. A teenage John Lennon spent hours looking at himself in the mirror while holding a guitar he couldn't play yet. Interesting way to put that. Yeah. Well, John Lennon was probably practicing as a teenager. And he kept playing and probably, lacked confidence, lacked self-confidence. But he really loved playing the guitar, so he figured it out. He kept playing, he made mistakes, he made more mistakes, he learned from those mistakes, and then he figured it out, and look at how his career was. Once you become settled with the reality that incompetence apparently isn't a barrier to success, you'll stop having imposter syndrome, only half joking. One more time. Once you become settled with the reality that incompetence apparently isn't a barrier to success, you'll stop having imposter syndrome. So basically, if you're feeling incompetent, it's probably a temporary insecurity, and it's a nerve. You're feeling nervous, right? And it's temporary. When you realize it's temporary, you're going to also realize it isn't a barrier to your success. It is one of the best ways to learn. As we've been talking about, you learn from your mistakes, and then you'll figure it out, and you'll achieve greatness. And then, like this commenter said, you'll stop having imposter syndrome, only half joking. Well, no, I like what you said. And then she says, there's a million dumbasses who have private jets. I can think of one that likes to call himself the MAGA man, make America great again. People know who I'm talking about. And if you support that guy, then that's on you. I mean, no disrespect intended. It is what it is. We're going to read a couple more here, then we're going to go off the air. So get your final questions, comments, concerns in the chat. It's going to be a very short show. All right, nothing more in the chat. Had this hit me hard early last year, I would look at monthly financials and be like, no fucking way I just did that. This can't be right. Why doesn't anybody else do this then? And it took me most of last year to get over it. Now I have advanced to, man, if we can just do half as good as last year. That is freaking a great way to look at it. Okay? That's a great way to look at it, right? Another example, if you're, a young man in your late teens and early 20s, right? There's no way in hell you're going to make it right away. And same thing for women. Women are working nowadays, same thing. I'm just using men as an example, right? As a young man, you get out of high school, you may go to college, or you may go into some trade school, or you may just get a job out of high school, right? Some people just go to work right after high school. They know people and they get lucky and get a good job, right? But, when you first start working, you're going to be working a job that's probably not paying you that much. And if you meet a nice lady, at that point, you're not going to really, be completely settled and financially stable and all, at least for probably another couple more years while you work your way up through the company you're working for or get a better job, right? But here's the thing. Here's where faking it till you make it comes in, okay? And it's not about lying to somebody you're with. Be happy having that entry-level job in your late teens, early 20s, okay? And you don't have to, share your income with anyone. As long as you make enough to wear some decent clothing, have an okay car, right? You don't have to have anything fancy, right? And, if you meet the right woman even in your early 20s, right? And even if she knows what you make, as long as you're striving to make more money, get a better job, and better yourself, and that starts to happen over the next 2 to 5 years, then you're good. That's another example of fake it till you make it, right? It doesn't mean you're lying about who you are. It means that, hey, you're still happy within yourself and you're still living your life in a happy way and you're pushing forward even though you're not where you want to be yet. I'm going to read a couple more here because this one at the bottom is good as well. 10 years ago, I started doing coffee mugs with fun sayings or custom photos to sell. It should be sell, not sale, on eBay and Etsy. And it was literally torture, to get those damn mugs right. It took me close to a year to even start. Look at this, seeing money. It should be seeing, S-E-E-I-N-G, not seeing. This person, I'm sorry, man, you've got a literacy issue, but I feel bad. I'm not trying to be critical, but this is really, really, really piss poor grammar. To even start seeing money. But I started by copying the most popular designs and sayings, obviously the ones without copyright. 10 years later, I can do this shit, S-H-E-I-T, with my eyes closed. It should be eyes closed with a D. I haven't had one bad mug in like 2 years. This time, I will take my business to the next level. Trying to do is 2 words. New stuff every day. It is time. 10 years in the works. I've been doing this for 6 years on YouTube. It may take me 4 more to get it where I want to get it to, but that's okay. It's okay that it took you 10 years. It was meant to take you 10 years, but you kept pushing forward. You kept learning from your mistakes, right? You kept on faking it until you made it the proper way. You weren't doing anything, you weren't lying or being deceitful. You just kept on moving forward and being positive and happy. And eventually it worked out. You figured it out. Good for you. Excellent. All right, folks, final one here. Get any final questions, comments, or concerns in the chat. We'll be going off the air in 5 minutes or less. Getting good at minimizing deficiencies while highlighting strengths is a talent that will make you a lot of money. If you get comfortable leading meetings where you don't know what the hell is going on, but nobody ever figures it out, you are a truly valuable person. That was well written. Let me read that one more time. Getting good at minimizing deficiencies while highlighting strengths is a talent that will make you a lot of money. Let me put that into perspective. Have you heard of the phrase, you got to know when to hold them and know when to fold them, right? The gambler, right? It's kind of like being, at the poker table, right? Playing Texas Hold'em. You got to know when to hold them and know when to fold them. So getting good at minimizing deficiencies. So at the Hold'em table, you want to minimize your losses and maximize your winnings, right? Getting good at minimizing deficiencies while highlighting strengths is a talent that will make you a lot of money. If you get comfortable leading meetings where you don't know what the hell is going on, but nobody ever figures it out, you are truly a valuable person. I mean, I wouldn't go as far and say you don't know what the hell is going on. You might not just know everything going on, but you have to know enough to run the damn meeting, right? So you may not have all the information, right? But you have at least some of the information. If not, then what would be the point of the meeting? But I get what you're saying. I totally get what you're saying there. Well written there. Don Pickleball. That's a great Reddit username there. All right, folks. We're going to wrap this up back to full screen here. I want to mention this before I go off the air. If you folks watch this, you're probably going to watch this after midnight, so it's going to be the next day already. So we'll just say on Wednesday, July 12th, which if you're watching this the day after I did the live the night before, I'm going to be going live on Brutally Lawrence channel tonight at 9 p.m. Eastern, 6 p.m. Pacific. We're going to be talking about a little bit of everything, some, YouTube stuff and, just a little bit of this, a little bit of that. A lot of good stuff. Lauren has a lot of similar experiences as I do. and it's always a great show when I get on with Lauren, and I believe some other people are going to be joining us as well. So if you want to join us on that show and support us on that show, go to the community tab here on Coach Eli 2. I've shared the link to the show. The event's already out there. And when you go to that link, make sure you subscribe and bang the bell and select the notifications on the Brutally Lauren channel. She's also now monetized. Lauren got her monetization back. Congratulations, Lauren, on being monetized. Big round of applause. Congratulations, Lauren. That's good news. Lauren is a great, great lady. She's got a great husband, a great family, and I've known her probably for close to 5 years now on this platform. And her and I have had some of the most surreal experiences out here on YouTube trying to get our message out. But finally, her and I have figured this whole thing out. And from this point on, we've become, and we're going to continue to be strong collaborators because we really care about people. And another thing that Lauren and I have in common, and same with my girlfriend Dawn, the three of us have in common, we're very good at reading people and understanding how they're feeling and what they're thinking. So it's going to be an amazing show tomorrow. Please join us. All right. Let me see here. Donnie Shasho says, sometimes I found it's good to delegate certain tasks out. Right. I may be asleep when that show happens. Oh, catch the replay, bro. All right. With that being said, have a good one. Take care. And as always, be good to each other.